Good morning. My name is Paul Newman. I'm president of the board of directors of the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Ventura, and we're very pleased to have you all here. Thank you. A year ago, we brought on a man with a vision for our club. And to tell you about his vision, please welcome our CEO, Patrick Davidson.
Thank you, Paul. Well, thank you all for joining us. We have a very exciting story at the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Ventura. I'm extremely proud to be the CEO, and thanks to the support of all of you, we get the job done. It struck me that since I spent the last year meeting people and talking about the organization, that it might be appropriate to present what I call the state of the club, and to give you a little background, because I think there's some misperceptions about what we do. That's our mission statement. We enable children. That's what we do. I'm not going to read every slide because that drives me crazy when somebody does a PowerPoint that way. These are the pillars of our programming. A lot of people think we're after-school daycare. We're not. We're much more. It's education. It's character and leadership, health and life skills, sports, fitness, and the arts. We have programs that we develop locally and that we work with from the national organization that permeate the entire program. Project Learn, career development, etc. I'll talk about one of them. Project Learn, this is where we work directly with Trudy's schools. What I like to say is at 3 o'clock or whatever time school's over, a baton is passed from the schools to the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Ventura. Our programming is directly related to their curriculum, and that's why it's so strong. It isn't just after-school daycare. We help with their homework, but we also do program that enriches what's going on in the classroom. If they're doing teaching on Spain, we'll have activities and art projects that directly relate to that. That may surprise you, but that's the depth of the Boys and Girls Club. Leadership, Torch Club, Keystone, Youth of the Year. I don't need to say much because we have our Youth of the Year here, Joey Thompson, and what he does, he exemplifies what we do. On your tables, you will see what we call the building blocks brochure. It's a little thin one. If you take a look at that on the front, that's where the kids start, and when you open it up, that's where they end up. We develop leaders for your community. Health and life skills. A variety of programs. Key to that is Smart Moves. Smart Moves is a program that starts at the very early ages and goes all the way through high school. Helps them with their self-esteem, helps them deal with the real challenges they're facing in their community. Bullying, we talk about everything. Sex education, we get the word out and explain it in a culture that they can appreciate. Triple Play is our sports program, and it combines 3 things: healthy habits, physical activity, and positive relationships, hence Triple Play. The arts, extremely important, and the arts are very much alive and well in our clubs. You just saw what we handed out as thank yous. That art was created by the children in our clubs every day. And this summer, we're opening a very exciting project called Notes for Notes. We're building a recording studio in the club on the west side. And this project was brought to us by the Notes for Notes organization. So kids will learn how to create music and express themselves through the arts. It's extremely exciting. Okay, that's what we do. Here's some of the numbers. You've mentioned we have 5 clubs. Most people don't know that. And we call it Greater Ventura because they range all the way from Oakview all the way across to the new Harrison Center in Saticoy, which is spectacular. If you haven't seen the Harrison Center, it's also in your materials, and all the people that built that are represented. Every day, more than 500 kids walk through our doors, every single day. And over the course of a year, we serve 1,200 children. Also on that flyer I mentioned are the statistics, and we didn't make these up. This came from a study by Cal Lutheran University. 97% high school graduation rate, 92% increased self-confidence, 88% of the parents can stay employed. You'll see that represented in a video in a few minutes. 83% have improved family communication, and yes, 0 teen pregnancies. This came from a study that was conducted by the university. Those numbers are extraordinary. I can say that because I've only been here a year. I couldn't believe it. But that's what this program does. It costs $50 a year, $50 a year for a child to be a member of a club. And if they can't afford it, no one is turned away. And every club has a waiting list. Why? Because we need more money. It's real simple. Our ratio is 1 to 20, 1 adult to every 20 children. And when I could raise enough money to hire another staff, we can bring 20 more kids in. There's room in the clubs. It's also a myth. People think that we're funded by national, and that's not the case. They give us programming, they give us support, they give us a lot of things. They don't give us a lot of money. So all of the money, most of the money that supports the club in Ventura, we have to raise locally. Our annual budget is $1.4 million. Yes, we do get grants. We get state grants, we get educational grants, and so on. But basically, it creates a shortfall. So to support a child, it's $600 a year. That's the number I'd like to have you think about. It's $50 a month. And here's the thing that knocked me out. For every dollar invested, this came from the same study, $16 is returned to your community. 1 to 16. I know the market did pretty well last year, but not this good. And here's the other fact. It costs $180,000 a year to have a youth in the criminal justice system. $180,000. So every child we keep out of that system is a benefit to you. We don't have our hand out because we're begging. We have our hand out because we are an asset to your community. Having a strong and robust Boys and Girls Club in this community makes this a better place to live. And that's why I know all of you. I know I'm preaching to the choir. I get that. I know that. You have supported us tremendously. So this is the final thought. That's what I'd like you to think about. On your cards are the pledge cards. These are the numbers that make it happen. And what it all comes down to, the reason this works, it's not about the buildings, and it's not about the programming. It's about the relationship of our staff with the children who come in every day. Many of our staff members sitting back in the corner, it isn't in the script, but would you please stand? These are the people that run our clubs. In the next few minutes, you're going to meet some people that I think will touch your heart. What we need to have them do is drill to your wallet. It's a crass thing to say, but that's where we're at. And I'm very proud of the work that we do. But more importantly, what I would like to have you do is come visit a club. If you come to a club between 3 and 4, any day after school, we got you. Thank you.
One other thing besides your money, of course, is your time. And if any of you have an inkling that you want to give your time either as a board member, or if you want to give your time to a particular event, or if you'd like to come for an hour a day to a club and help tutor a kid, all of that is available. So please call Patrick, call me, and we'd be happy to have you help us. That would be a terrific asset for us. Now I'd like to introduce to you Ventura City's newest council member, Eric Nazarenko. Eric's also the Deputy District Attorney of the County of Ventura, but if you could enlighten us, that would be terrific, and let us know what you think about the Boys and Girls Club and how it's affecting our great city. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you, Paul, and thank you, Patrick, and the Board of Directors for allowing me to speak, and thank you to all who are assembled here for giving up your Thursday morning for such a worthy and meaningful cause, something that benefits Ventura in many different ways, and let me talk about those ways right now. As some of you may know, about a week and a half ago, the City of Ventura, in collaboration with the National Endowment for the Arts, kicked off the Big Read. It was an effort to unite our city in reading and discussion of a book entitled The Things They Carried, authored by Vietnam veteran Tim O'Brien. In its collection of short stories, the author explores what soldiers physically carried through the war to cope with combat duty, such as a rabbit's foot for good luck, or pantyhose to remind them of a girlfriend back home. The book also deals with the emotional, physical, and psychological toll of war that remains well after the battle has ended, including trying to comprehend the incomprehensible, the question of why some soldiers lived while others did not. As I considered and thought about the book and reflected on my own professional duties in the courtroom, often prosecuting cases where children and young people were either the victims of crimes or been its witnesses, I thought about what children in this city carry and the emotional, psychological, and physical toll of that burden. Loved ones absent from home or incarcerated. A despair and loss of hope among some that comes from feeling that there are too few options and choices available to them in their life. And the ever-present pull, lure, and false comfort of gangs, alcohol, drugs, and sexual activity. In the landmark 2011 California Lutheran study that Patrick just cited, which examined the economic impact of the Boys and Girls Club in California, the study's author wrote, quote, "In addition to the cost of teenage pregnancy that burdens the taxpayers, it is important to consider ways in which teenage parenthood changes the future life and prospects of the parent and child. Teenage parents are less likely to complete high school and more likely to depend on public assistance. The children of teen mothers are more likely to perform poorly in school and are at greater risk of abuse and neglect. The sons of teen mothers are 13% more likely to end up in prison, and the daughters of teen mothers are more likely to become teen mothers themselves. And what about the parents and family members? What do they carry? What emotional, psychological, and physical damage burdens them? Multiple jobs that make parent-child interaction difficult, if not impossible. Economic uncertainty about daily bills from rent to utilities to food. And fear and apprehension about what happens to their loved ones after the bell rings and during fall, spring, and summer recess. Where are they? Who are they with? And what are they doing? According to the California Legislative Analyst's Office, the highest rate of violent juvenile crime occurs when youth leave school between the hours of 3 and 4 p.m. daily. So how do we as citizens of this city and as of the business community take what our youth and their families carry and make it lighter? We give of ourselves and our resources, and we invest in the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Ventura. Recognizing that every day in 5 locations in this city and nearby Saticoy, 550 young people ages 6 through 18 have negative experiences replaced with positive ones. Interact with role models, teachers, coaches, and artists, and develop the capacity to trust. Enjoy regular and consistent access to caring adults, and are able to decrease the number of negative peers exerting destructive pressure over their lives. In her 2009 study, Amy Arberton, a senior research fellow with the Oakland-based Public-Private Ventures, surveyed several hundred teenagers from throughout the country who participated in Boys and Girls Club activities. She published her findings in a study entitled "Making Every Day Count: Boys and Girls Club's Role in Promoting Positive Outcomes for Teens." What she learned from her research is that part of the reason that teenagers were succeeding is that not only had they formed positive relationships with the adults, the counselors, the teachers, the tutors at the clubs, but they had also developed positive relationships with each other, forming cohorts that sought to distance themselves from destructive, peer-driven behaviors. So it is no surprise that when you pick up this brochure and you read its contents, you find that this club can take credit for 0 teen pregnancies. And when you pick up this brochure, it is no surprise that 88% of parents can stay employed and provide for their families, knowing that while they are employed, their children are in safe, enriched, and cared for structured environments. Lastly, let me tell you about my own personal experiences with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Ventura. I've spoken at the Robert Addison Center on the West Side as part of Career Day and donated school supplies to that facility. And in doing so, I have seen firsthand the bright, inquisitive, and talented youth that are served at our facilities. I've taken tours of the E.J. Harrison Family Youth Center, the Westview and Johnson Drive facilities, and what I love about those facilities is that when you go there, the children and the young people are not withdrawn. They're not simply buried in the hypnotic glow of an iPod, a DVD, or their parents' phone. What you see instead is life, movement, activity, sports, art, positive social interaction. It is a gem. And speaking of art, I had the opportunity to judge a Boys and Girls Club art contest. You saw some of the examples here just a moment ago, and what I noticed and recognized that these kids have incredible talent, from ceramics to paper mache to watercolors, painting, drawing, and they're right here in our city, they're right here in our backyard, and they have talent, and we need to help that talent thrive. These clubs work. And right now, great futures start here, in this room, at this hour, with your contribution. Now, if you accidentally write a check and you put a couple too many zeros on it, tell your significant other that it was early. You hadn't had enough coffee yet. It was a breakfast meeting, and you apologize. But what I have done is I have brought with me my check. I am proud to give it to you, Patrick, because I know every day in our city what you, your board, this community, and all your 5 facilities do for us is make Ventura a better place. Thank you.
It's really fun there, and I enjoy it. It's because I have friends there. You're gonna boom, have friends snap really quick.
We've seen her grow socially, and initially just quiet and shy, but now she thinks, she runs the programs, and she loves to help, and she loves to be a leader, and we've really seen her grow from that. It also carries over kind of our family values, our moral values, that we feel like the kids get to experience things. They're in programs there. Right now they're in a Smart Move program, and they learn about things that, that necessarily it's important to talk to teens about, but they don't always hear it.
I have friends there, and I have people who, they take care of me.
The director and helpers there, they motivate our kids to be just the best kids that they can. Boys and Girls Club offers what I would do if I could be at home with my kids, and probably more opportunity because they have the social interaction of other kids.
It started out with just necessity, needing, being a working mom.
She used to take care of us, but now she couldn't. She's a busy person. She really needs to work.
It's amazing the value that the Boys and Girls Club brings to the community, brings to parents that are working. But it's just that peace of mind to have the Boys and Girls Club pick your children up at school so that they're not just, getting into trouble. They look forward to that participation, and I think that sense of community that the Boys and Girls Club instills in them. It's just an amazing program that I'm very grateful for. The Boys and Girls Club is definitely something that I would look into contributing on the board or, you know, monetarily.
I actually want to be a teacher in the Boys and Girls Club, so I'm thinking, hey, why can't I join the Boys and Girls Club staff? So that's what I want to do when I grow up.
I love the Boys and Girls Club.
I go there because most of the time I do my homework, and most of my friends go there. We all get along, and the staffs are like my family.
I think Boys and Girls Club helped him a lot.
The staffs talk about business and how we grew up, so yeah, they help me go to the right path.
When your son is be in the street, you never know who's gonna be meet there. The street has gangster.
My mom works at cleaning houses, and my dad works at a restaurant. But right now he doesn't have a job.
So I feel really comfortable when I'm working and I know that somebody is looking after my son.
I like helping kids because I like helping them solve a problem.
The best place for me is Boys and Girls Club.
It's a place where it's safe from me being out there with other kids that cause trouble, and also it's a place to go with my friends and get my work done.
And then it enables the parents to be able to put food on the table. You know, before this, we weren't able to make ends meet, you know, and so now that I'm able to definitely go to work, and now my husband is able to supplement with his clients after school, because before he was trying to get his work done and be able to pick the kids up right from school.
Yeah, it's more than just the kids, it's the staff too. She's always there for me when I'm sad.
Being a teacher, like, homework is just about the last thing I want to do in the afternoon or the evening, and it's done, and it's done well and explained well to them, and I just really feel like they're getting good habits. I couldn't imagine not having my kids there. I mean, if I had the choice now, I don't know if I would take them out. You know what I mean? Because I just think it's been such a great program.
Each club has their Youth of the Year, which represents the club and represents the club by a speaking tournament. Next week, our speaker, Joey Thompson, our Youth of the Year, will be competing against the Youths of the Year from the other clubs in Ventura County, and hopefully moving on to greater heights as well. And here's a little something Joey put together.
I think it has saved both of our lives. I've been a single mom since forever, and it saved us both. It gave us a group to be part of.
The more you stay at the club, the more it forms you and shapes you into a better person. Being a part of the club, like, I'd be more confident with other people, and I'd be more willing and more outgoing, and I could see it, and the club, you know, caused all that. So that's why I stayed there, because it kept me off the streets, and at the same time, I was meeting new people, I was experiencing things other kids can't experience. My friends always think of the club as like a daycare. Well, it's not at all. It literally makes you an amazing person. I mean, I'm 18, so I technically have to leave being a member, but I can't leave the club because it's such a big part of my life. It's my second home, so I really don't want to leave it. So I'm trying to give it back to the club, pay it forward by being there as a staff and helping kids out the way that staff helped me out growing up.
It's that one neighborhood kid, ripped jeans and a baseball mitt, chilling at that park until it gets dark. We out trying to make forever, but we all don't have that spark.
If I could only go back and be young again. Sometimes I wish those youthful days had never ended.
That's just a snippet of a much longer video. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joey Thompson. Joey, give us an idea what life was like before you came to the club and how it really really transferred your life into what it is today.
Well, I didn't exactly live in the greatest neighborhood growing up. You know, I was in a very gang-related neighborhood, and it was just me and my mom. My biological father was actually homeless in the same neighborhood I lived in, so that was kind of hard for me. But I also had a stepdad at the time, and he was in and out of jail. So I had a lot of negativity around me, and it was just me and my mom, and she's a really hard worker. And I also actually had a leg disease, which I was supposed to limp for the rest of my life, and that caused my childhood growing up to be very sort of down tone. I wasn't social. I wasn't the talking person or anything. And my first day at the club, you know, my mom signed me up. He actually got a job there. I went to the club, and I was very shy, very not attached to people. I was kept my own space to myself. And a staff member at the club actually reached out to me. I used to watch the other kids play because I was scared to play. I had a leg injury. I expected the other kids to make fun of me and stuff. I was a very nervous person. And he actually reached out to me one day. I was sitting in the gym, and I'm against the wall watching the kids play. And out of nowhere, he's like, you know, why don't you get in the game? And I was so shy that I didn't want to say no. I'd rather just get in the game. And I wasn't sure if he was aware I had the leg problem, but either way, I got in the game. And I expected all the kids to make fun of me and stuff. And they actually, you know, welcomed me. They made me, like, feel good. We were playing soccer. They passed the ball to me. You know, I really felt for the first time in my life that I actually belonged somewhere. And ever since that day, I fell in love with the gym, fell in love with the club, fell in love with the people. And ever since then, my life took off. And I wasn't the same kid anymore. And it was within, like, a week of being at the club, I changed my whole persona around completely. Like, it's just crazy to even think about.
Joey, what about, you know, you see your other friends that don't go to the club and what their future looks like, and how do you foresee your future compared to some of the kids that don't have that club experience in your neighborhood?
That's a good question, actually. I failed my way through middle school. I literally begged my 8th grade teacher to give me extra grades so I can graduate that day. On the day of graduation, my whole family was there. I think most kids my age run into the same problems, and they don't have people there to switch them around. So, for instance, when I barely passed 8th grade, I was like, you know, high school's going to be hard. You know, it's going to be tougher than it is right now in middle school, and I'm having a hard time already. Well, that summer of that 8th grade going into high school, due to the support from the staff members, it gave me enough confidence to switch it around. I actually ended up taking honor classes that freshman year, and that's where I fell in love with writing, and I found my passion for writing, you know, music and poems and stuff. But I think a lot of kids don't get that support of a second chance. They don't. If I didn't have the club, I never would have switched my life around with education at all. And I'm lucky enough to experience a change in my life due to the club, and because they were there, I literally changed my whole life around. If they weren't there, I probably would have went into high school with the mentality that I was going to fail, and I probably would have failed. And here I am about to graduate right now, so I got nothing but, you know, thank yous to the Boys and Girls Club for that.
Thank you, Joey, and good luck next week on the competition.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Wow, that's something else. Thank you again, Joey and Paul, for doing that. I'm James Mason. I'm on the board of the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm here to talk about what you can do. And I want to talk about two things that you can do that are really important. But one thing I want to mention, according to an article done by the 2013 California Budget Report, in Ventura County, a family with 2 incomes and 4 family members requires $85,000 a year just to make ends meet. Think about that, $85,000 a year. For anybody that came from anywhere else in the country, that's just staggering, let alone here. That's difficult. But see, that's not just overwhelming as we hear that. There's families in this community that's overwhelming to them. They don't have the resources to be able to afford the opportunities and the advantages that many of us take for granted. Boys and Girls Club can change a lot of that with your help. Now, we talked about a lot of the facts and figures that deal with the Boys and Girls Club, how much of a difference it makes in individuals, in families, in the community. But I really want to underscore what it does for the child, for the children in our community, what the Boys and Girls Club provides, as far as a safe, nurturing environment for them to grow and grow into something like Joey. Grow in, you know, it's funny because I was thinking about coming up here following a kid. No, you never follow a kid, you know. But you know what, I did? I followed a club kid, but Joey's not a kid. Joey's a man. And the Boys and Girls Clubs contributed to Joey becoming the man that he is and the man that he'll be. We talk about great futures start here. Now today, we're at a Power of One breakfast, and really what occurred to me, I've been involved in community service and social outreach for probably about 37 years. And when I first got started, I was so overwhelmed by what I saw in the communities that I've been in. And it's, how can I make a difference? No matter how much you contribute, no matter how much you're involved as an individual, there's always going to be need. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be missed. There's always going to be somebody that falls through the cracks. But it's not just the power of one, it's the power of one multiplied. We're all here together to be able to contribute and make a difference. And no one of us can change the world, but all of us together can change the world. And I want to encourage you, and I talked about two things. One, obviously, to run the activities that provide the things that these kids have, it takes funds to do that. And we really need you for that. And that's really important. And there's forms on your tables for you to be able to fill out, to be able to donate. And we talked about that multiplier. $1 translates to $16 in the community. And the fact that it takes $600 a year. $600 a year to keep a kid in an environment that's going to help them be successful. That's nothing. We already saw the $180,000 to have them incarcerated. That's just, it's crazy. But the other thing I want to mention to you is, Patrick talked earlier that we're kind of preaching to a choir. Pretty much everyone in here's drunk the Kool-Aid. That's Boys and Girls Club. You know, you're vested in it. You understand the value that it contributes to the community. But what I want to encourage you to do is to be its loudest cheerleader. The people that aren't here today, the people that you do know, let them know. Encourage them and bring them. If you haven't been to a club, come to a club, but bring somebody with you. Because the change that you'll see that happens in these kids will be a change that happens in you. And you'll be able to, I want something in this community that can just be so contagious that we realize the value that we have within this to be able to make a difference. Speaking of making a difference in Power of One, at this point I'd like to welcome up John Brandt. It's someone who's really made a difference when it comes to this community and to the Boys and Girls Club. John?
Good morning, everyone. I have been on the board for the Boys and Girls Club for 25 years, I think now. I just want to say a quick story. When I teach juggling and unicycling at the club, and I've been doing that for 13 years. I've been on the board for a lot of years, and I decided fundraising's great, organizing events is great, but I wanted to go do something with the kids. My wife Sherry's here today. We weren't able to have any children, and I decided there's this great resource in town. There's all these kids we can have, and then we get to leave too. So I started the juggling program. Pretty much the first day, there was this little kid sitting over there, like Joey, sitting on the bench, and he wasn't participating. He's actually writing something. He's like 10 years old. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm just writing." Anyway, I got him off the bench, and I got him juggling. Sherry and I are going in May. To New Orleans. He's graduating from Loyola University. And that's the Power of One. I went there because I wanted to play with kids, and I ended up getting one. He calls me and asks for money too. And we give it to him because it's a great investment. And I'm so proud of him, and I'm so proud of the kids that I teach every week at the club. We have such a resource. Joey, congratulations. I know you're going to have a great life and be very successful. All the kids in the club are going to do that. We need more people here to help support us. We have the facilities. We don't have enough staff. Patrick, here's a $5,000 check. We could go spend a lot of money on vacation. I think the money we spend supporting the club gives me much more pleasure than any vacation. Right, Sherry? And we've kept from having some vacations the last few years because we didn't have the funds. Well, we still contribute to the club. I encourage you, please give as much as you can. The kids will enjoy it. Come by the club, see the energy. It's just amazing. Every day we're changing lives. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Just so you know, you saw James Mason, one of the board members, Paul Newman up here. You do not have to have a famous name to become a board member. Just want to let you know that. It's not mandatory, because it's really an exciting time for us with Patrick at the helm and the terrific staff that is assembled at the Boys and Girls Club. And please, help us as much as you can, and please reach out to your friends and come visit a club. Thank you so much.